welcome back to the Project DIY channel. Today's project, we're going to check out my 2024 Tacoma I just bought, and going to install a retractable bed cover. Let's get started. So last week I did a thing. Traded in my RAV4 for a 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport. And the color is underground gray, one of my favorite colors. So we got the TRD Sport with the tech package, has the big screen, of course, 4-wheel drive, 360-degree cameras, Toyota's safety setup, which is lane departure alert, lane keep assist. Also has the warnings for vehicles next to you. 3 auxiliary push buttons here that can be wired to auxiliary lights or whatever else you have. Plenty of rear seat room. Front seat is set where I normally drive, so as you can see, there's plenty enough room for somebody to put legs in between there. The interiors on these vehicles are pretty roomy. Now, this is not the first Tacoma I've had. I had a 2019 off-road a few years back, and I loved the truck, but I hated how it shifted and how much power it lacked. I didn't keep it all that long because of that. It really, the transmission shifting got on my nerves really bad. I'll even put a link to a video up here at the top that I did showing the thing hanging up in 4th gear. Those problems are gone. It has a 2.4 liter engine with a turbo and an 8-speed transmission instead of a 6-speed. And there's no transmission issues with this. It shifts through the gears perfectly, holds the gears where it's supposed to. No issues at all in that category, so I'm happy about that. This truck also has the parking sensors all the way around. Has cameras everywhere. Also has fog lights in the front. Now, all in all, I really like this truck. It's so much better than the previous generation Tacoma. So I'm gonna be doing a series of videos on this truck. Starting off with today's, installing a bed cover. No bed cover from the factory on it, so we're gonna put one on it. There'll be a few others. So for today's project, we're gonna be installing this Flocatu retractable bed cover. I got this off of Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description where you can pick your one up if you want. I've got everything laid out here. We have side rails. We have the actual retractable cover itself. Top panel. And I'm not sure what that extra rail is for. And then we have all the accessories here. One thing I forgot to mention, power tailgate. Pretty nifty. Also, power tailgate. I'm a little spoiled. All right, to get started, we got 4 of these little brackets, 4 studs, 4 nuts, 4 washers. They all have to be assembled like this. Once you have those assembled, 2 of those slide in. Side rails on the bottom on each side. All right, next thing is what they call the bin, or the actual cover itself has to be attached to the side rails. And the easiest way I think to do this is to turn these side rails upside down and put this bin on top of it upside down. And this was kind of hard for me to figure out, but there are some nuts inside of here and a hole right here, and the bolt goes through there. There's one at the top too. And you have to get this position right so that there's some little tabs under here. They go down inside this rail on either side of the nut. So there's how these 2 bolts go in. All right, guys. Instructions for this are terrible. Let me tell you what they don't tell you in the instructions so you'll know. Before you attach this to the side rails, make sure you pull the cover out a little bit, or else once you get it on there, you're not going to be able to get the cover out. It won't come out. So I had to take these back off. You have to pull this out just a little bit, and there's a gap in this rail right here, and you can slide this in, pull this back this way, slide it in, and then slide it up and under here and line your holes up. If you don't do that, it's not going to work out right. So that's number one. Number two, they tell you to put these sliding bolts in here first. Do not do that, because you're going to wrestle with this thing so much that you're not going to be able to keep those in there. They slide around and fall out, and you'll be like me, trying to find the one that's missing. That's what I'm doing right now. All right, once you get that in there and test it, you can grab a hold of it, pull it out, slide it out, make sure it slides out. Once it slides out, you're good to go. You can tighten these bolts up on the side, but don't tighten them up until you test it. All right, next thing you want to do before you set the bed cover on here is put these two pieces of what they call waterproof sponge on the back here. And you can double that up according to the instructions. All right, we're now ready to set this thing on. Once you get it on here, then you can go back and install these. They just slide up in those slots and slide down. You do that from underneath. And once you get them on there, they look just like that. And right up in here's the slot where you slide those into. All right, we got several pieces to attach this to the bed. For the Tacoma, we're only going to use this one. Now, these are normally put together like this, but we're only going to use this one piece here. And this will attach to those slide bolts that we put in there. And then there's a nut that goes inside your slide rail that these attach to. Pinch it on the slide rail. Now on the Tacoma, to access the slide rail, push this piece in and it pops out. Then you can slide your slide rail nuts into the groove. Once you have your nuts in, you just pop the cap back on the end of the slide rail. Next, you attach your bracket to the slide nut, like so. Then you run these studs into the slide nut in your rail, like so. You have a locking nut that goes on the outside. You do that for all four of them. I'm going to slide these down as far each way as you can get. That way you have it tightened up all the way around, farthest forward and farthest back. Also, don't tighten these up until you make sure everything is lined up exactly how you want it, because once you do, it's not moving. Now this also has drain tubes. One here and one out at the end. And it says to drill a hole in your bed and run the tube through your bed. Now I'm not going to do that. I don't want to drill a hole in my brand new truck, so we're not going to be hooking that up. I can live with a little water in it, and I may cap this off or something. Try that and see what that does. If the water is too bad in the bed of the truck, maybe I'll cap those off, but I think it'll be okay. I'm not concerned about the water much. I'd rather have the water in the bed as to have holes drilled in my truck. All right, next thing that goes on is your cover here in the back. Has a seal on it, so you have to position down in the crack. And then there's 3 bolt holes. It has screws to go in it, some Loctite to keep them from backing out, and those screws go through these plastic pieces here, and then you fold the cover back over and snap it on to hide the screw, just like that. And once you get it on there the way you want it, set in the way you want it, make sure you slide it all the way back to the cab as far as you can get it, and shut your tailgate. Make sure your tailgate shuts. Do that with the bed liner fully closed, and make sure your tailgate will shut. If you find it's not opening or closing fast enough, there is an adjustment right here. And use a nut driver or on your drill, tighten that up. If you tighten it up, that tightens the spring up and it'll close faster. Loosen it up and that will loosen the spring and it'll close slower. This is lockable. Comes with keys, and this is the push button that you push. Pull it in and out. Once it locks, you have to push this, pull it out a little bit, and it'll go the rest of the way. Has 3 different positions, one barely out, one halfway out, and one all the way out. Has a nice long strap with a tether. You can hook to your bed somewhere, but you don't have to climb up in there to get it out. All right, guys, there you go. That's installing the Floca 2 bed cover on my 2024 Toyota Tacoma. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and make sure you subscribe. And also, if you have a question or any comments or anything on this bed cover or on my 2024 Toyota Tacoma, drop them down in the comment section below. And I usually read all the comments. I'll respond to good comments. People that are being jerks, I just kind of ignore. So don't be a jerk and I won't ignore you. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one.